Many people know Clive Davis as one of the most powerful figures in the music industry. For decades, he helped launch the careers of some of the world's biggest stars, while keeping much of his private life out of public view. But recent reports about what was discovered inside his estate have left many people shocked and asking questions. So what exactly was found? Why has it caused so much controversy? And could these discoveries change the way people remember the legendary music executive? According to radio host Larry Gators, a secret meeting took place at Clive Davis's mansion in Beverly Hills in 1995. Gators claimed that rappers from all over the country attended the gathering, and that people connected to the CIA, the FBI, and executives from private prison companies were present. According to Gators, the message was clear. Artists were encouraged to make more songs about conflict with police, use degrading language toward black women, and create music that was more aggressive, violent, and controversial. The reason, he alleged, was that private prison companies wanted more people entering the prison system. Many people questioned the story, which is understandable since it was an unproven claim from a radio host. However, interest grew because an anonymous letter that appeared online in 2012 described a very similar situation. The writer claimed to have witnessed powerful business leaders urging record executives to push gangsta rap further and influence young listeners in ways that could ultimately benefit the private prison industry. That letter circulated for years without being proven true. But eventually, the story attracted renewed interest, especially as conversations about music industry exploitation gained traction on social media platforms in 2024 and 2025. Adding to the speculation, some reports claimed that Clive Davis and Whitney Houston had argued just 2 days before her death, and that her daughter, Bobby Christina, may have witnessed part of that disagreement. Larry Gators directly named Clive Davis as the person who hosted the supposed meeting. Davis's representatives quickly denied the claims, stating the story was completely false and that no such meeting had ever taken place. They pointed to Davis's long public record of helping artists recover from addiction and personal struggles. The denial was clear and intended to put the matter to rest. However, for many people, it did not end the discussion. In the early 1990s, after Diddy left Uptown Records, Clive Davis reportedly gave him $15 million to start Bad Boy Records, worth close to $40 million today. Davis later explained that he believed hip-hop was about to become a worldwide force. Still, many have wondered why someone would invest so much in a person who had never run a record label before and was known for being difficult to work with. The timing has led some to connect the investment to the alleged secret meeting. Whatever the truth may be, the investment helped create one of the most successful labels in hip-hop history. Artists like Biggie Smalls and Craig Mack became stars, and Bad Boy Records changed the sound of mainstream music. Some argue the story goes back further, to the 1980s and Priority Records. The label's founders previously worked at K-tel International, a company famous for television compilations and novelty records. Critics find it surprising that a company connected to novelty projects later became associated with NWA, one of the most controversial groups in hip-hop history. Members of NWA later suggested their tough image was not always accurate. Ice Cube said he sometimes felt used by the industry. Dr. Dre was not known as a gangster, and DJ Yella was even further from that image. Yet the image sold millions of records and made the group famous worldwide. Some critics believe this served as a test run for a business model later used on a larger scale. By the 90s, the industry had a blueprint, financial backing, and new figures ready to build powerful entertainment brands. Diddy became one of the most important people in that movement. Today, the situation looks very different. Diddy is being held at MDC Brooklyn since his arrest in September 2024 on federal charges, including sex trafficking and racketeering, and he could stay there for years. At the same time, rumors circulate about whether Diddy is sharing information with federal prosecutors. His attorney, Mark Agnifilo, has publicly stated that Diddy is eager to testify and may be difficult to keep off the witness stand. Comments like that suggest Diddy may want to speak publicly about events connected to his case. Supporters of the rumors speculate that if Diddy were willing to provide information, he could discuss people, meetings, and business dealings from decades ago. However, no federal charges have been announced against Clive Davis, and no public evidence has confirmed the long-running rumors. Davis received the Apollo Theater's Legacy Award on June 4, 2025, at a major event with many celebrities. Method Man performed, and Busta Rhymes praised him. That same week, Diddy was still in custody, facing a sentence that could keep him locked up until late 2028. So while one man linked to him in business was being honored on stage, the other was sitting in a federal jail. The contrast has drawn a lot of attention. The same federal system that arrested Diddy has not taken any action against Davis. However, people say that if rumors about Diddy cooperating are true, things could change quickly. Some suggest the alleged 1995 meeting and related claims may never have happened or may not be backed by real evidence. Still, questions persist. Why did the $15 million investment happen at that time? How did Priority Records move from small projects to backing NWA? And why is Diddy said to be interested in testifying? When people look at these details together, they find them hard to fully separate or explain. Nothing is confirmed, and many parts remain unclear. Meanwhile, Diddy remains in MDC, Brooklyn. In June 2025, Judge Arun Subramanian sentenced him to 50 months, meaning his earliest possible release would be around late 2028. Some reports say he may be eager to testify, actively interested in doing so. If true, it raises questions about what he might know. He was involved in the music industry at a very high level and ran Bad Boy Records. Even if not directly involved in alleged meetings, he was close to major decisions, deals, and powerful people. Suge Knight is currently serving a 28-year prison sentence for voluntary manslaughter. He is a convicted felon with a long, bitter history of conflict with Sean Diddy Combs dating to the 1990s. Because of that background, many argue he is not a neutral or reliable voice. He has clear personal reasons to twist facts. But what keeps people paying attention is what he says he knows. Knight has claimed there are hidden recordings involving powerful figures in the music industry. According to him, these recordings involve not only Combs, but also people above him in the industry hierarchy. He suggests that some higher-level figures were involved in the same kinds of behavior others were accused of, and that the industry helped protect or hide those actions. Before completely dismissing him, supporters argue it is important to listen. Knight is not asking for sympathy or presenting himself as innocent. Instead, he speaks from a prison cell with very little to gain personally. He claims he is simply telling what he believes is the long-standing truth about how the music business operates behind the scenes. One disturbing idea he mentioned is something he called the egg test. The basic idea is that young or upcoming artists were allegedly put through humiliating or degrading physical situations as an informal test before being accepted into the industry. According to Knight, this was not completely unknown. He suggested it was more like an open secret, something many were aware of, but few were willing to speak about publicly. He also named Clive Davis as someone who enabled or allowed these practices to continue. He did not accuse Davis of directly organizing alleged events, but rather of knowing about them and doing nothing to stop them. Davis's spokesperson quickly rejected these claims, describing Knight's statements as completely false and coming from someone currently in prison with personal resentment toward the industry. From their view, his accusations are not credible and are motivated by anger rather than evidence. And that is where the situation becomes complicated. Knight's credibility is heavily questioned because of his criminal record and long-standing conflicts. Yet he is making serious claims involving major companies like Universal and Interscope. According to Knight, when serious accusations were made against certain artists, there was sometimes a quiet way of handling it. He claims that instead of public legal battles, some individuals were given jobs within the company or placed on the payroll. He suggests these payments were structured to look official, but were meant to keep people quiet. So far, no legal action has been taken against Knight specifically over these claims. No major public lawsuit has forced him to retract his statements. Some notice that Universal and Interscope have not come out quickly and loudly to deny the claims. Because of that silence, they wonder if the strategy is simply to wait and hope the story fades. But instead of fading, the story keeps going. Suge Knight keeps speaking, making the topic harder to ignore. Knight is not the only voice suggesting powerful people protected themselves when large amounts of money were involved. One instance goes back to 1991 at the City College of New York. There was a charity basketball event promoted by Diddy. According to reports, planning was poorly handled and security was insufficient. A stampede broke out and 9 people were injured. In many industries, this could have ended a career. But Combs continued moving forward without a major public shutdown. Only 2 years later, in 1993, Clive Davis provided him with around $15 million to build Bad Boy Records. Instead of being pushed out, he was given resources to expand further. There are also allegations from within the media industry. Daniel Smith, an editor at Vibe magazine, claimed that Combs once threatened to sue her while they were in a car because she refused to show him magazine cover photos before publication. She says this happened in the 90s and left her with lasting emotional stress. According to her account, there were no serious legal consequences for Combs afterward. Because of stories like these, some critics argue a pattern forms. Whenever Combs faced situations that could have led to serious consequences, something always seemed to prevent those consequences from fully landing. Whether through industry support, legal outcomes, or business influence, his career continued moving forward. This is where major institutions enter the discussion. New York University has the Clive Davis Institute of Recorded Music, named after the influential music executive. It is a respected program that trains young people for the music industry. But now, its connection to Davis is being viewed differently by some because of the wider controversies being discussed publicly. In fall 2024, the Institute named rapper Joey Badass as an artist in residence, indirectly connecting him to the legacy of Clive Davis. The Institute's leadership said he could help students understand modern financial systems of the music industry. However, critics say this sounds different when placed next to ongoing allegations about how money, influence, and power may have shaped parts of the industry. The Apollo Theater also becomes part of this contrast. In June 2025, Clive Davis received a Legacy Award at a major benefit event there, where well-known artists performed in his honor. The question remains, what did people really find when they looked behind the curtain of Clive Davis's legacy? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe.